So, welcome to another edition of Book of Jake. I know, I'm actually quite confident this is episode 26, but this is the first time that I've got actually two guests. So the reason I'm doing this is because I have access to them. So welcome Ean and Haniff, the Fly FM New Breakfast Show. It's Ean and Haniff, the Fly FM Breakfast Show, right?
Yes, sir.
So firstly, last few days you had your first show. Let's start with that. How was it?
Yeah, like expected. I wanted this. It's different lah. I've almost 20 years on a Malay station. Tiba-tiba cakap English on air. Like speaking to you guys is fine, kawan. And then you go on air, you know, millions are listening in. The pressure is a bit different.
So speaking Manglish and suddenly going on air, what's the difference?
Okay, I think because growing up, you listen to English stations and it doesn't sound Manglish, right? So it's stuck in my head that I gotta be like, I don't know, just dropping names here, Rudy. You know, I gotta be like, and they speak fast and they speak like Mazali. And now I'm tuning out of that. I gotta be me on a station that I used to listen to, something like that. So it feels a bit, alamak, there's a switch that I haven't entirely tekan betul-betul lah.
Yeah, but I perfectly understand you now. And I, you know, we'll get to the psyche of that. But Ian, so why the switch suddenly?
Why the switch?
Actually, a bit of context. I actually hired this boy when he was a little... He's still little, but
when I was 24, Jake. When I was 24, you hired me.
Hired him as a promo exec on actually on hits. We have to say on hits. Okay. Yeah, you know, we all started in Astro, and what a great place it was, and we grew from there. But yeah, tell us why the switch.
Okay, first, do you remember the first TV show that you put me on? Blast Off. That's how it all began.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
how it all began.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
So, okay, why the switch? Number of reasons. I was listening over to the other side. We spoke about this. There was a bit of jealousy in me because I wanted to feel more involved. I felt like you guys are doing so much. I mean, us over here now. You know, the one that stands out, the one that got me was that bed shearing thing. I was like, oh God, this is Jake. Smells like Jake. Smells like something Jake would do. A pun turned into a big event. And I thought, oh man, I miss that. I miss the way you used to push us, the way that we worked, you know? So that, you know, I called you. We spoke to each other and I asked to be put over here because I miss that style of radio. You know, you mentioned radio had evolved. It's not just being heard. It's being watched, that interaction. I wanted that.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, I remember a lot of things that we did, but you know, we'll talk about Heinz Hall, and you did mention to me about you say Heinz Hall is Heinz Hall, whatever. So that Macklemore song that, you know, it to me, because it's related to your father-in-law based on.
Yeah, so he represented BDS Malaysia.
BDS, yes.
BDSM, which is the actual term. BDS Malaysia. This is where I should have come a bit more prepared. But all I know is that they support Palestine full on. And there was a concert that the other side was doing that he was just not happy with. And it made it difficult for me as an announcer to talk about that and go on.
So your wife and you argued because of this? Huh?
We did. Actually, more of an argument rather than she's telling me, hey, Abhi's not too pleased with this. What are you going to do? So there was a bit of a scuffle on that side. Here, it was 100% support.
So I don't know whether anyone noticed, we don't play Heinz Hall. Yeah. We don't play that all on era or on we did it. Now that we are Fly, I'm happy too. Like these kind of things. Well, we all have our moral compasses, again.
Yeah, so I acknowledge that there is a social responsibility. You know, and again, like I said, there's no right or wrong to this. This is just our ethos. We wanted to believe that, you know, that we have to stand for something, especially in this Gen Z, Gen A, where societal responsibility has become so important. But this generation truly believes that you need to stand up for something. And this is something I've learned from the Gen Zs and Gen 8s. And I thought that was very refreshing. So, and that's why, you know, Sean was running, is running Fly. It's very interesting. So, and we spoke about it, and I felt that it transcended, and, you know, the idea of running that song for 24 hours.
That was great.
Was phenomenal.
Everyone was talking about it. In fact, being over there, Jay, I got tagged and people said, well done for this. So I couldn't claim that because it wasn't us. And, you know, just going on from what you said, it aligns with the values now, especially with my father-in-law being so outspoken when it comes to this cause. It's easier. You know, you feel more at home with these things, which, you know, made that transition better for us.
Easier.
Yeah, easier.
So going to Haniff, I remember Haniff joining XFM as a street team, and most of the announcers, strangely enough, started as a street team, and XFM was a It was an amazing station. I used to love running it. We had
Yeah.
so much fun because nobody paid attention to it. So we did,
Exactly what I loved it.
we were just so gangster with it. And then you joined Nazri, who's the CEO of Media Prima Audio, got you onto Era, and you were doing part-time on Era. And then
Correct.
Then you've been there for a long time, number one breakfast show. And then you moved to Drive with Ray, who's actually a very good friend of mine also, Ray. I really love Ray. Hi, Ray. The transition to English.
Yeah.
Yeah. His brother actually does English radio before. He was on Mix. It was a light Sham.
It's good.
Yeah. Doing the switch, I speak to Sham a lot.
Okay.
I ask him a lot of questions, like, because I know Sham was like the gold standard at one point.
Yes.
He was
very
it.
good format jock. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my brother. But for me, I think the easiest way to put it was I peaked for a Malay station, Malay language radio, and the peak was over. There's no peaking after that. And I really thought I need to push myself. It was really for me. I need to push myself. What do I do? Well, I thought, to me, the solution really was to move to a different language, English. I could speak English. And in the English segment, I am zero. And I loved it because I felt with the years I've done in Malay station, no one wants to correct me anymore. They do, but it's not the same as
Kira you legend lah.
Dia macam cold storage, I think. The correct word is macam, okay, just waiting for you to. I don't want that. I want to be pushed like we are being pushed on Fly right now, and we miss that. We keep telling ourselves, dude, this is what we want, right? So that's an opportunity for me to now push myself, and dekat Era when I started with Aznil, if you remember, we were number 2. And then I was part of the team that brought it to number 1.
Yeah.
So now I have the opportunity to do that again. I want to. This is it. It has to be on English. Yeah.
So interestingly enough, I was speaking about this last week on my podcast, which is if you want to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. So I take you back to your first day on Fly FM and explain to me how uncomfortable you were.
Even saying it's Ean and Haniff on the Fly breakfast, that took like a couple of rounds so that I sound smoother, and it's very technical.
You have to also remember, Jake, he's very self-critical. So there's always that self-doubt. Once you got used to it, towards the end of the show, there was a lot more comfort.
Every day since agreeing to do Fly with Ian, it was a big agree. Like, Ian, of course I'll do it Fly. But every day I've been calling or texting. Like a lot. I don't think I sound so good. So, sure, I could have done better.
So was there doubt in the two of you? I mean, 100%. You all can front it like, we are cool, we are so experienced. But there must have been doubt. And how did you actually overcome it?
Okay, 100% there was doubt. We were both calling each other, worried that the chemistry...
No. Were you doubtful of him or not?
Yeah, a little bit. Because,
dude, no, that's not what you say.
Okay, why I say this in the beginning, because you're so worried about English. When we spoke on air, Jay, you know this better than anybody else. People have a different persona on air.
But you have a very natural way of speaking, which,
Thanks very much.
I give you the props to that.
I appreciate that.
And same with Haniff. And that's why I didn't want Haniff to turn into, when we were designing the show, Sean, me, Aaron, Nazri, designing the show, we didn't want it to sound like suddenly Haniff, hey, what's up? He starts speaking.
Fabricated.
I'm kind of doing that right now.
That's the only doubt I have.
So, and here, all through this podcast, I'm hearing you speak like yourself.
Exactly.
Why?
Maybe you need to be there, Jake. Maybe you need to come early in the morning.
So how do you actually go through this?
Well, the first couple of days is really just keep doing it, and then I think the shortest way to answer this, and it means a lot, is just do it. You keep reminding yourself, and yes, we have Sean and everybody, the producers will keep just reminding you, bro. Keep going, but do this, and then I know I'm going to improve for sure. But itulah, I was thinking, when you said on air when your persona and then off air as a friend. You remember Halim Osman?
Of course. Oh yeah, but Halim speaks loud off air also.
Yes, which one?
Yeah, but Halim speaks loud off air also. Halim's like, hi Jake, apa khabar? But it's okay if you can carry that 24/7. But it's very difficult because you're not expressive. This is what you get in and out. The podcast. This is the Jake you'll get all the time because I've actually learned how to do this. A lot of people, and you've heard DJs go on air, hi, Fly FM or Hits FM or Mix FM or Light FM or whatever FM, suddenly their tone becomes different, and they put on that persona.
Yeah.
So I noticed your first break you struggled with that.
Yes. And I'm also, I guess the panic also is because I'm paneling. Which
Paneling
is my forte.
paneling is a concept where you have to control all the elements of
Yeah, like the volumes of the mics and then the sounds that you want to use. So everything is in my head. But then as soon as you hit the
Here's the thing, he's so particular, Jake. He doesn't want to let anyone touch that. I thought maybe for the first week, let me panel. We're both experienced. No. He wants to do everything and make it harder for himself,
which is me, I guess.
But you overcame it.
Yeah, no one else is going to push yourself more than.
Okay, so let me put you in a situation. So, you're a week, a couple of days doing the show already. And what is your end goal for Ean and Haniff in the show? We know you want to be number one, but I think you're already the most exciting show on Malaysian English radio. So where do you want to take this?
Number one, I want to hear that from everyone that's listening. That'll be good. From people, just to be interactive, people to give that kind of feedback that we're accessible.
Just not from your mother and family.
My mother gives me good feedback all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. You know this.
Listen in tomorrow because we got your mother on the.
She's going to be tuning in at some point in time. Yeah. What do you reckon?
For Ean H, household names.
Yeah,
I really want Ean and Haniff to become the household name.
Not as individuals, but as a team.
If you're talking about like a team, this is it. Household name for English radio. Fly EH. Let it be the show. The show.
And how has technology? You guys come from a time where social media and all that was not so huge. Wow, and how long you've been doing? 20 years, 2 decades, and you're so like 16 years, right? So now with how Fly FM embraces technology and everything's fast, your show is being recorded and somebody's cutting and then putting. How does this affect your learning curve?
Okay, for us, we did a live the first day that we arrived. Literally 9 a.m. It was live. We had something like 20,000 likes within the first couple of minutes.
And this was TikTok.
Yeah,
TikTok. There was 1,000 people, and I believe there was 8,000 people at and 7,000 unique.
So we have to be on point all the time. We have to be on the whole time. From Dulu, we used to get used to just doing talk sets, and after that.
Relax.
Now there's a certain comfort level that we need to achieve from being on all the time. So I suppose the focus has to be there more. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. And then we have of course the social media manager, I think, or content manager,
who's there all the time
too. Just kind of tap in and say we're recording this. So now it's different. Now we're going live and then there's a camera. So but if we don't move towards whatever technology is heading towards, then we're done.
Behind. Yeah,
we're done, Jake.
So, do you believe that joining Fly is right now is a step up for you guys?
Oh yes, 100%. From the moment we got in, like you said, we had that someone who's looking after the Instagram, TikTok. So it's multifaceted, Jake. We didn't just focus on air. We were doing videos.
You use a big word, not faceted. You have to explain to.
Dia macam faceted.
I know it's a real word. It's a real word.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
Many different aspects lah. Banyak aspect, brother.
Hey, I got big words too. Escalate.
So there's so many things that we had to pay attention to. And it was great because you see yourself on video. After that, we're reposting stuff. So there's many ways that we can attack. 3-dimensional, I think you called it, right?
So, assuming I'm new and somebody's watching, hearing this podcast, and you have had an amazing journey. You've done pretty well financially. You've you've access to stars. It's actually quite a good life, if I have to say so. So when you reflect at it like that, I remember you were just a promo exec. You were just you know what I mean. And wow, and then you're getting all this. Your names on a billboard, your face is on a billboard. You're everywhere. You were on Bulletin Utama. Wow, you know what I mean. How does one get into that journey?
How do you begin it?
Yeah.
I'd love to say it's all about skill. Nowadays, you just have to put yourself out there. I think there's so many opportunities to see different talents with different media. Just put yourself out there. When you stand out, you stand out. I'm sure someone like you would notice it if you're on social media. Just to put yourself out there, because we didn't have access to all these things back then.
We didn't, but
it was right place, right time, wasn't it?
Back then or not, I think this stands. The entirety of it doesn't matter when. The opportunity counts.
Yeah,
you must be able to look at it as this is a great opportunity and take it. If you don't see it, the opportunity, you're not going anywhere. There must have been an opportunity I took that was the correct journey for me. There must have been a time when you did it. So it doesn't really matter whether you say, post much on a lot more on TikTok ke, Instagram ke. Doesn't matter. If you find it as an opportunity, then what?
Yeah.
Kalau tidak, you're wasting your time really.
Risk reward kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and strangely enough, the competition is much more higher now. For people to get into that kind of situation right now, the degree is so small. So, what do you think is your prowess or to get to there?
Perseverance. There's a lot to do with it. When we first started, it was competitive too. So many people were gunning for the same thing. I think you just got to keep showing up and keep doing it. Repeat.
Yeah, for me, I've always kind of taken a step further than everybody else, or at least that's what I think. Like when we discussed over who was going to panel and control the show, I knew
you want to do everything.
There's one thing people don't like to do, so I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I'll forever be that guy. Even on other radio shows, if you notice on YouTube's, I've always been the dude who does the things people don't want to do.
That's
I jumped off a plane, bro. I jumped off because nobody wanted it. I'll do it.
Very strategic in the way you think too. If something's lacking, Haniff will come and fill the
And
void.
strangely enough, he broke 3 ribs before a few days before we started the show on an ATV thing.
Yeah. If you notice, there's certain angles I cannot move to because it's still there. But I'm getting better. That's what I'm saying. For the things I feel I lack, I cover for other things, and I continue to upskill myself continuously. Right now, I'm paying monthly on LinkedIn just so that I get to learn. They're the short courses.
Yeah, exactly.
I do that once in a while. You know what I mean? So these are like little things I do, but over the years it becomes huge.
That's what I'm saying. And you brought it up just now. Evolve. That's so important.
So, what is the future for you guys? Apart post this, I believe you have another 5, 6, 7 years, on air. After that,
it's hard.
I know what Haniff does. He's got his own agency and stuff like that. What about you? You can't carry on being mommy's boy for the rest of your life.
I love
only Jake can say that.
Yeah, only Jake can say that. I love this whole thing, this whole presenting thing. Radio's been the right flavor of me so far, for me. I enjoy doing this, Jake. Maybe you could do a podcast like you're doing right now, but I really thoroughly enjoy this. And I haven't been away from it, so it's hard to take myself away.
Like, I know your ex-partner Ray got heavily involved in movies and stuff.
Oh, yes.
This thing really, it's amazing how he is.
Yeah.
He was a cruiser, and then he's doing movies and stuff like. Have you all considered movies?
No, that's not my thing. Like, it's correct what Ian says about him. It's just the right flavor for him.
Yeah,
Radio presenting is the right flavor for me as well. Of course, I want to do a podcast because it's pretty much the same, right? I know what to do, I know what to say, and when to say, and what is good. A good conversation is. So I guess if you're talking about what else content-wise, I want to do a podcast. Really, I do.
Yeah,
just not yet. Right now, we're pretty busy, bro.
Long form eventually, though.
So before we end, how do people get in touch with your Instagrams and stuff? Like maybe you want to drop your handles and.
Sure. Okay. Mine's @Eancredible. I will DM you back. It may take a few hours. I'm working on that, but I will definitely DM you back.
Yeah, Haniff _Hamza, HANIFF_Hamza. Sorry, it's a bit long, but I'm very proud of my name. I never had like an additional.
And here's a bit of trivia for you guys. Haniff is very pro Malaysia, also in the sense that his son is Tua and Jabat.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he only wears Malaysian brands.
Oh yeah, now that you mentioned it, today is Nerd Unit. Shout out.
Malaysian brands and he's really for Malaysia. This is just an amazing thing. So yeah, guys, please follow them. Again, like, subscribe, share. You can also pick up my book at www.bookofjake.my and thank you. Please share this. And guys, all the best. We are rooting for you, and I'm sure we're going to be expecting. Are we going to be expecting some crazy stuff from you guys?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Exciting stuff.
Every day.
Parting words?
Thanks for watching.
And we'll be back. Look out for our podcast in the near future.
Yeah,
Commitment. All right. Thanks, big man.